At what point does a work environment damn near turn into a shoot when you take the barometers off the violence at hand, with all the bullshit that the foreign objects and the hardcore style matches?
For me, that point was Royal Rumble 99.
WWF rather than ECW.
Yeah, I think so. That's the match that made me turn around. It also happened that it was documented on film by Barry Blaustein, Beyond the Mat. And I wasn't aware of how out of hand it had gotten until I saw my children react. Like, I don't know if I would have thought it was that bad, but it was...
This is the match with you and The Rock.
And it was just violent. It just got out of hand. It was...
What was your... Now, because here's the deal. You and The Rock have a match.
Yeah.
You get handcuffed, and he's going to hit you with about, what, 8 or 10? Five chair shots. It seemed like 100 when you were backstage watching. I was there. And, man, I watched those first couple. And, he was laying them in because he had to.
Yeah.
And it was agreed upon.
Yeah. I didn't realize how beneficial your body's ability to give. Not taking anything away from the brutality of a chair shot. But at least when your body, you can give a little bit. I didn't understand it. It's like the Cinderella song, don't know what you got until it's gone. Once that ability was gone and my hands were cuffed behind my back and that first chair shot came and it hurt me down to my toes, like I realized this was a whole new level of pain. And my reaction to that shot was to fire up. It was a strange thing. It was a suspension of disbelief. Like I became that character in the worst possible scenario. I became Mankind, believing completely in the character with The Rock and a steel chair and my kids in the front row. And by the time we got to the agreed upon number, which was 5, I'm still in the ring. And it took 11 to get up there. And
so it was agreed upon 5 and ended up
5,
11.
Yeah, it just...
Because they kept going on forever. When you said 5 a while ago, I said, dude, there's more than that.
And the mindset was, at the time, he was getting ready to work with you, right? For Mania.
Right.
Mania 99. Rock was really... He was entertaining. He was funny. And I thought we needed to show a meaner side. Like, that was my job. And I wanted to make money while I did it. I had no question about that. But I thought that's what I owed the company. That's what I owed The Rock, was to reveal that mean streak. And we did it. No question that we accomplished that. And due to a unique set of circumstances, Vince wrestling for the first time in the Rumble, Rock needing to go out and be part of that Rumble, me coming back and being in rough shape, Rock maybe not properly addressing the condition that I was in. The angel on my shoulder turned out to be a Scotty Too Hottie for alerting me that I'd been really rough on The Rock in the commentary for Beyond the Mat. And because if Rock had found that out on his own, and without me telling him and giving him the heads up that I apparently had been a little rough on him in commentary, if he hadn't gone out that day and watched it with his wife and come back and had a good talk with me, I imagine there'd be some really bad feelings. And you don't want to have bad feelings towards a guy who's doing so much better in life, than you are.
What were you saying?
I haven't watched it back, but I know that maybe if people were scripting promos for me in '99, I would have been a little healthier emotionally, because in the back of my mind, the Rock and Sock connection, we were brought about with the express intent of me turning on The Rock, and immediately my thought was, I'm going to go back to the way I felt that day in the ring, the way I felt. But backstage.
You keep saying Beyond the Mat. You're talking about the documentary.
Documentary.
I don't remember you going crazy on a documentary.
It was a special edition, maybe 5 years down.
Okay.
I held on to this for a while. 5 years later, or whatever it was, the case would be special director's cut with me and Jesse doing commentary, where I still can't watch it. I don't want to hear what I said. But Scotty came up to me, and I'm pretty tight with Scotty. He was like, I watched Beyond the Mat. And I went, yeah? He goes, you kind of buried The Rock. And I went, I did? Like, how bad? He was like, pretty bad. And so I went up. That's the way I like to be, is to be honest with the guy. And then he did go out like that day and got it, watched it with his wife, and he was like, You were pretty tough on me, but I could have been a little more. Like I could. He felt bad about the way he came across, and that's the way you do things. You sit down, you talk him over. We came to a much better understanding, and we're able to much better appreciate what we had done in the ring as both partners and opponents.
Through the 11 chair shots, because, dude, watching that shit backstage was brutal. And then when I watched, Beyond the Mat, your kids are shrieking on camera, and they're covering their eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, it broke my heart.
It did mine, too. I remember Barry Blaustein telling me, he was like, I need for you to watch this. I said, what do you mean? And from my vantage point, by the time I got back, it was my daughter going, Daddy, it looks like you have a boo-boo. And I said, yeah, honey, Daddy's got a little boo-boo. And she said, Daddy, that looks like a big boo-boo. And on the film, I go, yeah, it is a big. They were completely composed by the time I saw them. I had no idea how upset they'd been. And after all this time, like, the strangest thing to me is that I thought it'd be perfectly fine, like, for them to watch me get stitched up. Like, that wasn't a question mark in my head. And so it was about that time, late 1999. This is given that I was on course to make more money than I ever had with the couple of years coming up. Man, that guilt weighed so heavily on my conscience, and combined with the knee problems I was having and the short-term memory problems. When I went to Vince and told him what was up from a health standpoint, he said to me, you just had your last match. Fast forward to October 99, Al Snow and I just won the tag team championship, and I've just had my last match, which I would have had it not been for the Steve Austin neck injury.
Yeah.
And so there was this gaping hole in the roster. And, fortunately, for the sake of, closure and finances, there was that big hole and an opening for a guy to have a couple last matches and go out the way that I wanted to with Triple H.